Welcome to this platform. So in today's lesson for mathematics, we are going to look at coordinate geometry. So the topic that we are looking at is coordinate geometry. Now, what do you need to know about coordinate geometry? So at the end of the lesson, what we are going to do, or the first part of the topic, we are going to look at how to find distance given 2 points. So distance between 2 points. And the second part that we are going to look at, in this case, we are going to look at how to find the midpoint. The third part that we are going to look at, we are going to look at how to find the gradient. Then the part number 4, we are going to look at how to find, or we are going to look at equation of the equation of a straight line. That is what we are going to look at. The fifth part, we are going to look at equations, or we are going to look at parallel and perpendicular. Perpendicular lines. So parallel and perpendicular lines. So that is what we are going to basically look at. So this brings us to the end of the whole topic, that is coordinate geometry. So after looking at these, and we should be able to cover these within some few minutes. So let us start with the distance. So how do you find the distance between 2 points, or length? Distance or length, how do you find length between 2 points? So in this case, I'm going to give an example. So you're saying, e.g., if you are given 2 points A, and let me say you are given the points with the coordinates, let's say 2, comma 5, and B in this case is let me put 3, 4. So please remember that these are just guessed numbers. So let us see if it will work. What I want is to explain at the end of the day so that you know how to find the distance. So now what is important here is the formula that you use to find distance. So for distance, since we are looking at the points A and B, so for distance AB, which can also be denoted as AB, you put them in the modulus like that. So distance, the formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So everything under the square root. So this is the formula for the distance between 2 points. So now here we have 2 points. Let us see if we can find the distance. So for these 2 points that we have, this one we are going to label it as x1, and this one as y1, this one as x2, this one as the y2, if we are to follow the order of the letters in the alphabet. So let us try and find the distance. We see if it will work, like I said. So we are going to put everything under the square root, and we are going to say x2, which is a 3, minus x1, which is a 2. Then here square plus, then we have x2, which is a 4, minus, y2, which is a 4, minus y1. Okay, so y1 is a 5, then square. So now here, what are we going to find? Here you know that 3 minus 2 is a 1. 1 square is just a 1. So under the square root, the first part we are going to have a 1. Then here we have 4 minus 5 square. Okay, 4 minus 5 is just a negative 1. But you know that anything that is squared or negative squared in this case gives you a positive. So this one will still be plus 1. So in this case, we are finding square root of 2. So please, since this is paper 1, you can end here and put units. But if in the case where you are asked, why I'm saying you can leave it here, because You are asked to find the square root of the number. And how are you going to find the square root of 2 without a calculator? So if you cannot find the square root, then you leave it like that. But I can assure you that the numbers that you'll be given always will bring out the perfect square. Okay, so in the case if it was a 4 inside there, we're going to find 2 units as the distance between 2 points. I guess you get that point. Alright, so that is what you need to know about distance. So what is important is the formula that you use to calculate distance between 2 points. Alright, so the second objective we said is to find the midpoint. So finding the midpoint. So we are shifting now to go and look at, we look at the midpoint. So how do you find the midpoint between 2 points? So in this case, I'm going to demonstrate in terms of a line. Let us say you have a line, this is A, C. And in most cases, or in other cases, you'll be given that the points A and B are, let's say point A is negative 3, 3. Then point, point A and B are negative 3, 3 and 4, 6 respectively. So this is what you might find at times. So respectively. Let me just remove this. Respectively. Find the midpoint. Find the midpoint if that is a question. So in this case, with the help of the diagram, with the help of a line, I wanted to demonstrate something. So please, let me just put this one as C because we are looking at the points. So A and C. So A and C are points on a straight line. Okay? A and C are points on a straight line. And the coordinates of these are negative 3, 3, 4, 6 respectively. Respectively means that A goes with this one and C goes with that one. So it means here the coordinates of A, if we were to picture it, to be 3, 3, negative 3, 3. Then for C it will be 4, 6. Then now you want to deal with, or you want to find the midpoint. How are you going to find the midpoint? So the midpoint, this is the formula. The midpoint is equals to x1 plus x2 divide 2, y1 plus y2 divide 2. So that is how we find the midpoint. So in order to find the midpoint of A, C, we are going to put up this. So this is x1, y1, which means this is x2, this is y2. So x1 is negative 3, then plus x2 is 4 divided 2. Then comma y1 is a 3 plus a 6. Then divided 2. So now what are we going to do here to find the coordinates for the midpoint? So here you are going just to remain with a 1, then over 2. So it will be 1 over 2, this is going to be 9 divide a 2. So 9 divide 2 is just 4, 1 over 2. This one is the midpoint. So the most important thing here is the equation for the midpoint. The formula for the midpoint. So that is what is important here. Okay, so we are done with the midpoint. So we can move on now to look at how to find the gradient. Now, how do you find the gradient, or what is the formula for the gradient? So for the gradient represented as m equal to y2 minus y1 divide x2 minus x1. This is the formula for the gradient. Let us say you are given 2 points, that is A, which is 2, 4, and B, which is 3, let's say 6. You are asked to find the gradient. Automatically, this one is going to be your x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So to find the gradient here, you are simply going to say y2 which is 6, minus y1, which is a 4, divide x2, which is a 3, minus x1, which is a 2. So in this case, you're going to have on top a 2 over, this is just a 1. So the gradient here is a 2. So this is how you simplify the gradient when you are given 2 points. But as we go on, we are going to look at another way of finding gradient in the case you are given equation, but we are yet to see that particular part. So please, in the case, let me just explain something here. In the case, let's say one of these was negative. Let's say 2 was negative. How was it going to be? So if 2 was negative, which means x1 is negative, let me put 3 to be negative. Okay, and this one we shouldn't have written it this way. I think the order, this one was supposed to be x1, then x2. Okay, yeah, it's just okay. So if this one was, now let us say if this one was negative and leave this one positive, please. There's something that I want to explain. So if that was the case, you are going to have minus from the formula, then negative 2, like that. So which means this was going to be a 2, but at the bottom here, you are going to multiply negative and negative to give you a positive. So this one was going to be positive 5, and therefore the gradient was going to be 2 over 5. I guess you get the difference. So if it comes with a negative, just know that from the formula also you have the negative. So don't put a number with the negative, omitting the sign in short, the negative. You have to fix it so that at least you can work out things. I guess you've gotten that part. Okay, so the other part that we can look at is for equation of a straight line. So on the equation of a straight line, there's really nothing much to look at. Let me just clean up the space so that we can look at equations of the straight line. Okay, so for the equation of a straight line, so you can say equation of the straight line. Okay, so one thing you need to know about the equation of a straight line, that the general one is y is equals to mx plus c. This is the general for the equation of for the equation of a straight line. And it's called y-intercept form. Now, what is important is you to be able to interpolate this equation. So m here in front of x is the gradient, and this is just y-intercept. Okay, so why am I indicating this? Because it's very important as we start looking at finding equation of a straight line, or just here, finding the equation of a straight line, you just need these two things. Okay, so you need the gradient and the y-intercept. But you can also use this form, y minus y1 equal to mx x minus x1. So this is another equation that you can use, or another one that you can use to find the equation of a straight line. Okay, so now let us consider the points A and B. So A, let us say A is 4 comma, let me put 5. Then B is let me put 2 comma 3. Okay, now if you are asked to find the equation of a line AB with these two coordinates, you are asked to find the equation of a line, a straight line AB with these two coordinates. How do you find it then? So like I said, the first thing you first have to find the what? The gradient. So let us find the gradient for this line. So gradient is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, the gradient is going to be, that is y2, so this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So it is going to be 3 minus, that is 5, over 2 minus what? Minus 4. I guess I followed it nicely here. So the gradient therefore is going to be, on top you are going to remain with negative 2. Then at the bottom you are going to remain with also negative 2. So this is going to give us a 1. So the gradient therefore is 1. So this is the first step. After you found the gradient now, you can fix it in the intercept form, this form. So fix where there's x, you put a 1. So y is equals to 1x plus a c, which is just the same as y is equals to x plus a c. Now, the next step, which is the second step, you need to find this part, which is a c. Now, how do you find the c? So from the coordinates that you are given, you just pick any of the coordinates. You can pick this one or this one. So I prefer picking this one. Now, when I pick this one, which means where there's y, I'll put a 5, and where there's x, I'll put a 4. So you're going to have 5 equals to 4 plus c. Remember, our goal is to find the c. So when we bring the other one this side, or we look at the additive inverse of this one, we subtract 4 here, and also here we subtract a 4. What are we going to have? We are going to have c equal to 1. So c is also equal to 1. Then we can fix it in this one and say y is equals to x plus 1. So this is the equation of this line that you are seeing, that is AB. That is how you find the equation. So what are the steps? You need to find the gradient first, then you need to find the intercept just by replacing or using one of the coordinates. Okay, now let us try to use this one. We said, because we said also this one works, let us try and use this one we see. So in order for us to use this one, you know that m is the gradient. So here the gradient, we already have it, you see, 1. So we're just simply going to replace a 1 there. So we're going to say y is equals to, y minus y1 equal to, we replace a 1 here, then x minus 1, x1. Okay, so this y and this x remains in the equation. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that here where you are seeing x1, y1 and x1, you're going to pick any of the coordinates here also. So since at first we picked this one, let us pick this one, which means this is x, this is y. So we're going to replace y minus y1 is a 3 equal to 1 is just the same as nothing there. So x we replace, that is x minus x1, we replace a 2. So we bring, you remember it has to remain in this form. So you need to leave y alone here. So you say y is equals to x minus 2. Then this one goes the other side. That is what we are used to, 3. So what are you going to remain with here? Y is equals to x. This is just going to be plus 1. This is the equation that we had found using even this one. So that is how you can use two of the equations here to find the equation of a straight line. Okay, so what is the other objective that we can look at? Is equation of a straight line. We've dealt with this one. So far we've dealt with this one, this one, this one, and this one. Let us look at parallel and perpendicular lines. Let us look at parallel and perpendicular lines. So we are going to start with the parallel lines. What about parallel lines? And the first thing we need to understand, in terms of, let's say if we are to be given a diagram, how are you able to present two parallel lines? How do you know that two lines are parallel? Okay, so look at this. So we're going to start with parallel lines. So for parallel lines, let us say you have two lines. These lines are parallel to each other. Okay, now in this case, let me say this line on top here, let me say this is line A, this is line B. We are given this one as 2x equal to, let me put 2y equal to x plus 3 as the equation of this line. So the equation of A is what? 2y equal to 2x, equal to x plus 3. That is the equation of that line. Then now, you are told that find the equation of the line that is parallel to this one, passing through the points. Let us say the point you are given 2, 3. Find the equation of a line parallel to this one, passing through 2, 3. How are you able to find it? Or how are you going to find it? So one thing you need to know about parallel lines is that they have same gradient. So parallel lines have same gradient. So gradient for parallel lines is equal. Okay? So which means the gradient for this line is equal to the gradient for this line. And that is what we need for us to find the equation of this line, because we said we need the what? The gradient, and also we need the what? The intercept. So the gradient, where do we get it? The gradient, we are going to get it from where? From this one. If we can find the gradient of this one, that is the gradient for this one. Okay? Now the question is that how do we find the gradient for this line whose equation is given? So you know that the equation of a straight line is y is equals to mx plus sc. So we are going to rearrange this equation given. We know that when we rearrange it in this form, the value for x here, or the coefficient for x here, is a gradient. So if we can rearrange it in this form, then the number in front of x, just know that that is a gradient. So let us do it. So 2y is equals to x plus a 3. So we need to leave y alone here. So how do you do it? You are going to divide throughout by a 2. Throughout by a 2. You are remaining with y is equals to 1 over 2x plus a 3 over 2. We are not interested in this part. We are interested in the coefficient of, or the number in front of x. And therefore, in this case, the gradient of this line is equals to what? 1 over 2. So we are saying that two parallel lines, they have same gradient. So if the gradient of this one is 1 over 2, and also, which means the gradient of this one is 1 over 2. So now we can go on and find the equation of this line. Y is equals to mx plus a c. The gradient, we have it, y is equals to 1 over 2x plus a c. Now, we have the gradient. For us to write the equation successfully, we still need the c. We are going to pick this coordinate. This is x, this is y. Replace in the equation. So we are going to have 3 equal to 1 over 2, that is 2, plus a c. This is just 1, okay? This is 1, this is 1. 1 divided 1 is 1. So 3 equal to 1 plus, that is plus a c. So for a c, what are we going to have? So c is equals to 3 minus 1, which is c is equals to a 2. So we are going to replace a c there. And therefore, the equation is going to be y is equals to 1 over 2x plus a 2. So this is the equation of this line. So what do we need to know? Equation of the line. That is, if they are parallel, you should need to know that the lines have same gradient. So for you to find the equation of the other one, of course, you always be given the coordinate at which it is passing. So find the gradient and of course find the equation. I guess you've gotten that part. So that is what you need to know about parallel lines. Let us look at perpendicular lines. What about perpendicular lines? So for perpendicular lines, let's say you have the line like this and you have another one like that. Or let me put it in x or y plane. You have a line like that and another one like that. Where they meet there is 90 degrees. Now I'm going to use the same equation. So the same equation that I've used here, I'll use it here. Okay. So let us say the equation for this line is 2y equal to x plus 3. Let's say that is the equation for this line. Let's say this is line L and this is line N. Then you're asked to find the equation of the line. So the equation of this line L is this one. Then they ask you find the equation of the line N, which is perpendicular to line L, passing through 2, 3. So the line that is perpendicular to this one L, which you were given the equation, is N and is perpendicular there, you know. Find its equation if it passes through 2, 3. How do you do it? So we are going to start by finding the what? The gradient first. So how do you find the gradient? You already know what we did previously. We just rearrange this one into y is equals to mx plus a c. So if we were to do it, this one is going to be the way we did it. I think it's the same one. So it's going to be y is equals to 1 over x plus 3 over 2. I guess no one has a problem here. So this one is the gradient for this line. So the gradient is 1 over 2. That is the gradient for line L. Okay? But here, we are not going to put it directly as also the gradient for the other line. When two lines are perpendicular, their gradient, if we are to multiply them, they give you -1. So gradient for line L multiply gradient for line N should give you -1. Now that we have the gradient for line L, 1 over 2 multiplied by gradient for line that is line N equal to -1. If we are to cross multiply, it is going to be mn equal to -2. Okay, so which means the gradient for line N is -2, and that is the one that we are going to use now to find its equation. So let us see. Y is equals to mx plus c. Where is the gradient? We put a -2, x plus a c. Y is equals to. We are given the coordinate passing through the point, so we are going to replace, this is x, this is y. So 3 equal to -2, then 2 plus c. Want to find c. This is -4, 3 plus c. C is equals to 3 plus 4. So c is equals to 7. We are going to replace it in this one. And what are we going to have as the equation? We are going to have y is equals to -2x plus 7. This is the equation. Okay? That is how we simply work out the equation. So this summarizes coordinate geometry. That is what you need to know about coordinate geometry. If at all you happen to find a question that is challenging beyond what I've explained, please, you can still drop it in the comment section. So that is it. That is it, what you need to know about coordinate geometry. Okay? So now, there are questions that I've answered on this particular topic. So you should be able to find the link in the comment section. That is, if you are watching this video from the YouTube, I'll paste the link in the comment section where you can find the video where I've answered the questions on coordinate geometry on each of the part that I've explained. Okay, so we come to an end. So please, if you are interested in the online lessons, you can contact on the number +26 0976. That is 402563. We'll be waiting to have you in class. Otherwise, see you in the next one.